You don't really need to use him. I think he's just kind of like an option to counter the, Graves and shit. So Bonk Choy, C tier.
If you've ever been on my channel, I've always been the guy to say that Bonk Choy is not that great of a plant. However, as I've tested him in different worlds of PvZ2, I've actually changed my mind. He's actually pretty good. This isn't me saying Bonk Choy is OP, because he isn't. I'm just saying that he's better than I thought, and I'm actually starting to like him. I've been overlooking him for so long, and I think it's time for him to get some love. So, let's go over the stats, shall we? Bonk Choy is a 150 sun cost plant with a 5-second recharge. It deals 15 damage per punch. This sounds terrible, but you have to remember his punch rate is pretty fast, I'd say. What makes this plant super unique is that he can attack backwards and forwards. So theoretically, he has versatility in many worlds and can counter gimmicks just with that one trait. However, Bonk Choy does prioritize the front over the back, so that's something you have to think about. Now the really cool thing about this plant is that he has a slightly better fire rate than Repeater. Bonk Choy has 30 DPS, while on average, Repeater has 28.57 DPS. While not much, it's pretty significant when you consider Bonk Choy is ever so slightly cheaper and is objectively more flexible to use in different level archetypes. So with all of that said, let's talk about his strengths. Again, like I said before, Bonk Choy is pretty cheap. This makes him not that much of an investment to use him, especially since this is the 50 sun meta, and it's really not that hard to get a bunch of sun. All of this helps out his flaw of being a melee plant. Besides, the fact that this plant being super simple helps it synergize with many others. Seriously, I've tested many different plants with it, and it just works with them so well. Other than other melee plants, but that's pretty much a given. Moreover, Bonk Choy with his special mechanic actually gives him more uses outside of being a DPS support in the front. He actually does pretty well in Wild West and Jurassic Marsh, where zombies are constantly bombarding the back of your defense. Bonk Choy, being a constant damager, helps clear the back very well. This mechanic also helps with clutch situations, like if a zombie is about to reach the house and you need to kill it. So now that we know the benefits of this plant, why did I not like Bonk Choy so long ago? This guy technically gets outclassed as soon as he gets to Pirate Seas. Let me explain. Snapdragon arguably does a better job at being a frontline DPS supporter, mainly because Snapdragon does area damage and has way more range. So, if you put a Walnut, you can actually put 2 columns of Snapdragons behind it instead of 1 column of Bonk Choys. Now, Snapdragon doesn't have the ability to attack backwards, but other plants like Instakills arguably do better at dealing with backlawn pressure. And it may be true that Snapdragon has far less fire rate and DPS, but I still believe that the range and splash fully makes this thing busted compared to Bonk Choy with that potential DPS, especially since it's better with walls. I also believe that, sort of, Spikeweed is better as a support plant than Bonk Choy in a way. Mostly because most zombies can't really destroy it. Now, it may have a way lower DPS than Bonk Choy, but the fact that zombies just kinda ignore it just suits better as the role of being a DPS support. I really like Bonk Choy. The fact that he's so simple makes him super flexible in many setups. While he may be technically outclassed by many other support DPS plants we discussed, I think Bonk Choy is still super fun to use in general and gets the job done. Also, the fact that he can punch backwards is super unique. There's not very many plants that can attack forwards and backwards. Like, that is awesome. Funnily enough, one of my favorite mods, Outverse, actually buffed this guy majorly. He may, have a slow-ass recharge, but his punches are so powerful that he can solo a Conehead and actually make Snapdragon look like dog shit. Now, this is all my opinion again. Take my videos for a grain of salt. And yeah. So if you enjoyed this video on Bonk Choy, please smash like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.